Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Wait.
What do you feel like talking about?
Well, I've been pretty grim the last few, so I want to kind of lighten it up with useful information on survival attitude. I'm going to talk loud to get over this wind, and should I burst into flame, we're still going to publish it because, views or something. I'm going to start off with survival attitude. First piece, pace. Positive attitude changes everything. If you want to live in a delusion of misery and what might be's and bind yourself in fear and apprehension, paranoia, well, okay, that's your choice. It's an interesting choice, not one I'd choose. How you enjoying your life with that? Because you know it ends, right? The piece that I want to share is positive attitude changes everything as a process towards an outcome, and the more likely outcome being that which, well, nourishes you, which supports your, not just your life-sustaining systems, but your relationships with your loved ones and your community, someone who's beneficial to be around and get involved with. Again, these are all choices. So survival attitude with that premise, and then a few simple rules, right? You know what fear feels like. You know what joy and confidence feels like. Cultivate one over the other. To pick up where I was going before I lit our camera guy on fire, there's some simple things to monitor in yourself if you're going to do self-care towards positive mental attitude or a productive survival attitude. First one, number one, you know the difference between fear. You know what it feels like to feel confident and sure, and also listening and humble just in case. There's this fine balance of wellness that is the baseline of your human existence if you are well. That's pretty self-explanatory. So why isn't anybody working towards that? They're not working it in here. They're going out there to look for it. So no matter how much space that plasma television takes up on your wall, it's not going to fill that void in there until you work on it internally. And now that things look a little bit stressful, thanks to the news media and some viruses and some political situations, people are on edge and they're creating their worst fears. Worry is praying for what you don't want. Fear is working toward it. The shelves are empty. Why? Really? Take a direct assessment. Don't listen to that story out there. That's just a story of your 9 to 5 every day. Well, there wasn't a problem until the shelves started getting empty. Now suddenly, oh, I have something to worry about. The shelves are empty. I mean, I have toilet paper or Germex or whatever. Well, that's not a virus causing that. That's people's attitudes. And that's not... The problem with the words survival attitude is you adopt an attitude that condemns you to a survival state. Survival is a temporary state. It means you're doing it wrong and you need to adjust your systems for the environment you find yourself in, right? And again, I'm not trying to be doom and gloom. I am eager to have well neighbors because my kids are young adults and I want their world to be as safe and productive and as adventurous as it can be for them. And so there's a bit of urgency for me. I'm really happy. Sometimes I don't want to tell people that because they get mad. Right? Everyone knows what I'm talking about. The office worker who's always happy all the time, and the people who've been burnt out and fried despise them. It's comical, but it's, got a tinge of tragic comedy to it. But if you study any survival story, from Dachau to the Titanic to the prisoners of wars in Vietnam and our most recent conflicts, it's having that one thing that you live for, that you're thankful for, that you appreciate or celebrate. Those fond memories of being a child or dinner with the family at Christmas. There's something, we call those waypoints. And the more waypoints you have, the better defined you are as a human being. You know who you are, you know why you're here, and you know what you're supposed to do to maintain productivity with that, whatever you want to call it, purpose for life, vision, interest, hobby, career. A career you love, though, not the career you're burnt out and mindlessly numb able-bodied going through this 9-to-5 gerbil wheel, but the one you look forward to every day, your passion. Because that's what separates the master musician from the everyday musician, the master surgeon from the everyday. It's not the education. Two people coming out of the same school are going to have very different careers because one is passionate and the other one is just doing their job. And there's some things that come with that too. A little too late for this situation. If you want to take inventory of your attitude, shelter, water, fire, and food, this little segment is hopefully going to inspire you to check against the reality of your situation, your attitude, and what it's generating. Check your passion against your wake. What interests you and moves you through your life? How are the people closest to you treated when you're feeling that fire? Are you doing it right, really? Are you a speedboat in the middle of a serene pond that just wants your presence and your attention while you charge off to save the world? You can be selfish with your vision. How does that translate in a grid down or a high threat situation? Probably should consider the whole quarantine scenario, what that might mean. How do you maintain your sanity now that the people you've been committed to but maybe not paying enough attention to are going to be seeing you all day, every day, all night, every night? What does that mean for supplies and rations and who's doing the dishes? Do you create a duty roster that's on the board for everybody to see to avoid conflict? Or do you wait until the frustration builds and react? Remember, reactionary systems are what got us in this mess. Being proactive and working on your own stuff before radiating that stuff outward. That's the hard work of it because we're not used to doing it that way. It's a more long-term investment. It produces a lot better results, but you're burning all of your energy and calories on the front end before anything manifests, let alone is recognized, so that when you do lose water, you already have an established system or two. When you do lose power, you have 2 or 3 systems for keeping light and warmth, not just for the house, but for cooking, for sterilizing the water. You've already put in place all of these physical systems before it became an issue, and now you're not scrambling to the store to clear the shelves because you have a rotation system downstairs in your pantry or upstairs in little neat piles along the counter. It's not hard. In World War II, people grew victory gardens. Everybody was on some level producing some food. Yeah, perhaps not all their food, but they had enough to displace the strain on the national system of food distribution. Victory gardens may be something to consider. Learning how to can and dry meat. How to acquire and store massed crops of foods that are available all around us, but we ignore because, well, big box stores. Right? What can you store that is dried goods, pastas, beans, potatoes, rice, that with just a little bit of spice or sauce or whatever addition could change that meal or add 3 pounds to a 12-ounce red squirrel? And make it fun. Make it a game for the kids. Let's see how prepared we can get. Let's have some goals here. Take them camping. Take them camping and teach them how to build a fire. These skills are not only empowering, they're useful, they're practical, they can be used every day. If they can build a fire, great. Can they build a smokeless fire? A smokeless fire in the rain? A fire that doesn't pop or crackle? A fire that produces a very high heat with a very low light ratio, and then when it finally goes out, the coals last till morning. So you're not getting up every 3.5 hours to add fuel to a fire. Little things that actually enrich your life. The things that we're missing are the problem. That all comes back to survival attitude. Are you thankful for your life? Do you see it as this temporary investment to better the place for the unborn? Or is it some sort of cynical game? Those with the most toys win? Or is it a fear-based, I hope I don't get it, all the way to the grave? Choice is yours. Choice. One of the two parents of survival. Choice and awareness. Have fun out there.